Welcome to Kathacast, where the stories of Bharat come alive. Episode 2, Mrityunjay Nachiketa. In this episode, we hear the story of Nachiketa, a boy who wins over Yamraj, the god of death, in his search for meaning of life and death. The story of Nachiketa is from Katha-Upanishad. This story enables us to understand the relation between the self and the universe. The journey of this awareness is not easy, but it is definitely a step towards moksha, that is ultimate liberation. Even Swami Vivekanand Ji said, if I get 10 or 12 boys with a faith of Nachiketa, I can turn the thoughts and pursuits of this country into a whole new channel. Welcome to the second episode of Kathacast, and let us now listen to this interesting story of Nachiketa.
Nachiketa was the son of sage Vajashravas. He was performing Vishwajit Yajna. In this Yajna, the performer had to give away all his wealth. In ancient times, cows were designated as valuable and special possessions, and hence Vajashravas, desiring a gift from the gods, decided to donate all his cows to Brahmanas. Nachiketa was in his teens at that time, and he was observing the sacrificial ritual with innocent interest. He was surprised to notice that his father was giving away only old and disabled cows, unable to give milk. Nachiketa was very intelligent, and with a pure heart he said to his father, "O my respected father, I heard in this yajna one has to give up all that one possesses. This being the case, to whom will you give me?" Vajashravas did not give any reply. After some time, Nachiketa asked again the same question, but in vain. He did not get any response from his father. Again, for the third time, Nachiketa repeated the same question. Now Vajashravas could not control his temper. He burst out, saying to his own son, "I will give you to Yama, the god of death." Nachiketa followed the words of his father and went to the kingdom of death. However, during that time, Yama was not present. None dared to admit Nachiketa, so he waited near the gate for 3 days and 3 nights without taking even a drop of water. When Yama returned and found Nachiketa at his doorstep, he felt sad for keeping a Brahman waiting for 3 days and 3 nights. He ordered his attendants to fetch holy water to invite and welcome Nachiketa. After the hospitality offered to Nachiketa, Yama told Nachiketa, "Dear child, I have not done good by keeping you waiting for 3 days. So I request you to ask for 3 boons." Nachiketa asked following boons from Yama. First boon he asked, "O Lord, let my father not be anxious about me, and let his anger against me vanish. When I go back to earth, let him recognize me and receive me back gladly." "Granted, son," said Yama. Then it was the turn for second boon. "Teach me the proper ritual for the fire sacrifice, that is yajna." Yama agreed and taught Nachiketa the proper ritual for the fire sacrifice, that is yajna and agnihotra. Third boon, "Is there indeed a life beyond death?" Nachiketa asked. Yama said, "Boy, do not ask me about matters of life and death. Even the gods are not clear on all points. Ask me something else. I will grant all your wishes other than this. Nachiketa persisted and said, O Yama, I only wish to know about the mysteries of life and death, and nothing else. Yama tried to offer Nachiketa worldly pleasures so that he may change the nature of his request for the third boon. But Nachiketa insists by stating that all the worldly pleasures are short-lived and do not render long-lasting happiness. Nachiketa was bold enough, saying that one can never reach the eternal through one's old worldly possessions. Therefore, he has renounced all desires for these pleasures and has come here with the hope of winning the eternal through the instructions of the god of death. It was too difficult for Yama to change the mind of young Nachiketa. So finally, he agreed to tell Nachiketa about the mysteries of life and death. Yama told to Nachiketa, the self is immortal. It was not born, nor did it die. It did not come out of anything, neither did anything come out of it. Even if this body is destroyed, the soul is not destroyed. Smaller than the smallest and larger than the largest, the self is living in all beings. Mere reading of the scriptures or intellectual learning cannot realize Atman. One must discriminate the Atman from the body, which is the seat of desire. It reveals itself to the deserving one. The goal of the wise is to know this Atman. This body is the chariot, intelligence is the driver, the senses are the horses, conscience the rein, and Atman is the lord of the chariot. The self is superior to body, mind, and senses. Greater than the individual soul is the enveloping superconsciousness, the seed of everything in the universe. Still greater is the ultimate person than whom there is nothing greater. He is the goal of our aspiration. Once that supreme self is realized, death loses all its terrors, and the one who has realized becomes immortal. The path to realization is long and difficult. Inability to realize Brahman results in one is being enmeshed in the cycle of rebirths. Understanding the self leads to moksha, or liberation from all the bondages. Let's understand what the scriptures are telling us about it. First, we shall have a look at the shloka from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani gruhnati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna nyanyani sanyati navani dehi. Meaning, as a person sheds worn out garments and wears new ones, likewise at the time of death, the soul casts off its worn out body and enters a new one. Nachiketa is standing still like a guiding star for all of us to eradicate the fear of death and face it courageously.
This was the second episode of Kathacast. Kathacast takes you on a journey of understanding Bharat, Dharma and Sanatan values through Katha, that is stories, itihasa, that is history, utsavs, that is festivals, and baudhiks, that is intellectuals. This podcast offers a nuanced perspective that empowers you to live life with a Dharmic worldview. We hope you enjoy the content. Thanks for listening and see you in the next episode.